What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to You Don't Know Ball. We had week 15. It was an all right week, I think, right? Felt weird with games on Saturday, for sure.
I think it was a fun week of football.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Yesterday, though, was just, like, because if you watch the World Cup, like, I don't know.
That was the craziest.
I got into it pretty hard. Like, it was intense to watch.
For a soccer game, that was crazy.
It was insane, and, like, my heart couldn't handle it. Like, and I don't care for either teams, but, like, watching it was awesome to watch, and it was like, fuck, and I got to get back into football here in a second. I was like, I couldn't even take a break. It was like the penalties ended at 11:55, and then boom, football was in your face. I didn't know like what was going on. Like I wasn't looking at fantasy. I was so confused, but it was cool. It was awesome, and just sports.
Little side note, because you said that and it just made me think of it. But like, did you guys see that with the call where? And I don't remember exactly who it is. I don't even know what network it is. I'm gonna sound a little uneducated here, but you guys will know what I'm saying. Where was that announcer who was born in Argentina,
cool.
where he was giving the call and he was like, bro, like crying. Like that was like, I was like, where can I get passion like this more often on a sports call, bro? This is like the best sports call I've ever heard.
Those are so awesome with like any sport, because like you see like that those guys, they are there every day. Like they love those teams, and it's so cool to see their reactions. Like I know the Vikings guy got pretty big after the Vikings beat the Bills or something. Like he had a crazy call. Those things are always cool though.
No, I agree.
I'm upset I missed the soccer game. I saw like the penalty kicks, kind of. Like I saw two of them, and then I was like making breakfast, turned away from the game. But
it was, I think, easily was one of. It was. Okay, I'm gonna say, yeah, it was the best sporting event I've ever watched.
That's what everybody says.
Everyone's saying it was the best World Cup of all time.
It wasn't even close.
Has Argentina won a World Cup before?
With Maradona, I believe so, a couple times.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, anyways, that's like if the Bears won their second Super Bowl, I'd be losing my mind.
Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah.
It actually was the third. He was right here because I did know. I literally looked at this
Yeah.
yesterday because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I wonder if Argentina's ever won it.
They
And
won.
so it was like 80. It was like I think it was both times in the 80s.
Yeah.
In the 80s, because Maradona was a GOAT, but now we're getting into soccer. But
Yeah, all right. Well,
No, it's a little good history.
it is good history. We're going to go into our question real quick. Connor brought up New Year's Eve. I want to know what your honest opinion of New Year's Eve is. Is it overrated? Is it underrated? Where does it rank amongst holidays?
About a spaz.
I'll go first since everybody's deciding. New Year's Eve is probably one of the worst holidays because it's just got the highest expectations. There's so much build up, and at least for me, I've been let down for so many New Year's in a row. It's been tough. It's been tough sledding. But I will say, the 1 out of 10 times that it does hit, it hits hard. So it sort of makes up for it. But I've had bad New Year's these last couple of New Year's, guys. I was bartending last year, and Quentin's ain't the bar that the people go for the ball drop. So I had that bitch closed down at midnight, and then I drove all the way home. That was
I forgot about that.
awful New Year's. That was horrible. I didn't make shit. I made maybe $20 in tips.
Damn.
Oh hell no. Well,
Yeah.
I'm on the same sentiment as you though, bro. I'm not gonna just shaft you here. What I'm thinking is, I'd say it's not that it's a bad holiday. It's just that I'm with you. Where it's like every time I'd say for New Year's, what was that?
Dolphins fathead.
Oh, so I was like something fell. No, it's just that it's not that it's a bad holiday, but I'm with Connor where it's like I think it's too much hype, and I'm just gonna go out and say I don't know how else. At least if you're not, in our part of the world here, I guess maybe it's not as big of a deal to you, but it gets really cold on New Year's around here. It's like, I don't want to be walking around bar to bar. And if you know me, you already know, I'm not I like having fun, partying stuff, but it's just like, I don't want to go, I like just like chilling, house party. That's more my vibe. Like, I'm not the biggest, go out, spend a lot of money unless it's like absolutely pertinent, really special event kind of thing. And it's like, I don't know. To me, it's kind of... It's just not my scene that much. Like I'm much more. If you have a house party on New Year's, I'm there, I'm chilling, I'm geeking. But if we're going out to the bars, it's just not. I don't know.
I feel you.
I'd have more fun doing a lot of other things.
I feel like New Year's is hit or miss based on the person. Like if you like going out, yeah, that's your day. But for me, as I've gotten older, I don't enjoy going out as much anymore. And that's just, I don't know if it comes with age, because I know a lot of my friends still like to go out, but it just doesn't do it for me anymore. And I don't know. I've been with you and probably Dylan most of the past couple New Years. So I got kicked out of a bar at midnight because
I was not there for that.
because I made eye
remember
contact
that.
with the cop, and I was like, that's interesting. Comes over and I'm out the bar. So that was a really bad New Year's. I'm not kidding. It was at 11:58.
I don't think it was going very well for us that night,
Yeah, and it
anyways.
wasn't, yeah.
I mean, you guys were at Summit in Iowa City. Like,
Yeah, no.
We weren't getting a kiss at midnight, so I walked out of the bar too. I was like, "Where you guys at?"
No, I respect him because I think Luke walked out of the bar too. So I was like, all right, they followed me. I'm not upset, but it did piss me off.
I actually remember you guys FaceTiming me at like maybe 12:05.
outside cold
Wait,
mad.
is this
Like,
YDKB lore?
Yeah, I mean,
I think this is some YDKB lore. I didn't even know about this.
What does that mean?
Like, okay, lore is like, it's
I'm gonna
like
be honest,
the more
I
you
just
get.
said yeah, and I had no idea.
Wait, so this is good. No, you guys need to know this. You guys need to know this because then whenever I say it in the future, it'll be a thing more and more.
It sounds like a great word
it's-
to have in your arsenal.
Well, yeah, it's like if let's say if you're like a fan of something or it's like anything like if it could be like for like random example like Lord of the Rings or like even like Nemo. I use the most incredibly random examples, but it could be like a book, a movie, it's like a show. But it's like learning things about the background or like the history of that thing, and you're kind of like,
That's
oh, I didn't
called
know.
lore?
Like kind of gives you like background on. Yeah, it's literally like
Okay.
background
You're like a
information.
fanatic.
It's kind of, it's like background information on a
Yeah.
subject that
Yeah.
you wouldn't have known.
Did you say Nemo?
Yeah, I literally said the most. I said Lord of the Rings and Nemo. I used a movie and a book. I just pulled two random ones.
That's so
But you know what I
funny.
mean? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like you can, for anything that has like people in it, just background information.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
to
okay,
cap
yeah.
out, we've had some good history and some bad.
We had some lore before.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was bad. And now that like college football playoffs are on New Year's Day, so it's like I'm cool with watching football and doing my thing. It doesn't. Yeah, and Ohio State plays this year, so it's like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking be at home. I'm gonna watch. I'll do it any year that anyone, my team doesn't have to be in it. Remember, I was watching the games here one year. So it's just what it is.
Yeah.
Well, for me, it's an interesting one because New Year's Eve is my birthday.
Yeah, it's true.
YDKB lore.
No cap.
Dylan, did I not know this? I see. This is proof I'm terrible with remembering birthdays because you probably tell me this. Everyone tells me their birthday every year, and every year I'm like, oh, it's swear to God. Well, so now I know in advance. We have.
It's okay. You don't have to feel. I'm gonna be honest, Dobbs. I feel like your birthday is definitely in the fall,
No, you're close though. So we have.
end of summer.
We got 12 more days to your birthday, July 20th.
Damn.
So it's like
Not-
it's like-
but
it's
it's
like-
hot. Yeah, it's the summer. I would say
yeah,
it's
it's
the summer.
dead beat of the summer. Not fall. Not fall. I was wrong. You guys don't have to make me feel better. But anyways, yeah, it's definitely overrated. I do like it though because I really don't like a ton of attention and stuff. So people tend to forget about my birthday like right after like 4 p.m. or something, and that's on to New Year's, which is fun. But yeah, everyone gets so excited. It's always a letdown. If you're going to Chicago, you spend $100 on a ticket to a bar or something.
At least.
And then
Then you have to buy drinks there usually, unless it's you get drinks with your ticket or whatever. So yeah, it's all right. I mean,
the two key things you're missing there though is Dobbs hitting on the cold, man. You're in the cold in this long ass line. You're mad. You're mad. There's no two ways when you're mad. I would be mad.
as opposed to like bar hopping, you're like stuck in the same bar, so
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
not like in the cold ton, I would say. But yeah, I mean,
And it happens every year. Any friend group, it doesn't matter. There's always that one person who always sabotages New Year's. Either they're far too drunk, get into something that they're not supposed to be doing, fighting someone or some shit, and it just happens. I probably have been the culprit of that here in the past couple of
Yeah.
years of here. So
This man is spitting.
you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. The odds are minus 1 million on that every year. Doesn't matter.
I will say the
always
four of
one
us
person.
here are definitely usually not that person.
Yeah, I think
Usually.
if we not
You could sometimes me sometimes.
if we
Since, like,
if
what,
we all went
like
out on New Year's, we
freshman
would be
year of high
fine.
school?
Yeah, something like that.
This
But-
group is getting back, chilling.
Yeah.
That's true. That's
100%.
true. All right.
I'm going out.
Kind of might be the one to go out
I'm
on.
going out.
Okay, so you're the one that's to pin us then?
Yeah, probably.
Oh no, I meant though you're usually not the one to be belligerent and causing issues.
Yeah, I hold myself.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
a decent level.
Do you? Yeah, no, you do. I'll give you your
It's
respect.
questionable.
Connor, you want to start us off with some football questions?
Let us do it. Should I lead into the Todd?
Yeah, I think
All
that's a
right.
good
Yeah,
start.
I've been waiting for this one.
This is going to be a fantastic clip. I cannot wait to
I think
clip
Dylan
this.
has too.
All right, let's see. I want to phrase this in a good way for a clip. Let's go. Okay.
Dylan, are you like Are you anticipating this as much as me? Because I'm like, I have no clue it's coming, but it's not like they're like gassing.
I have no idea what's happening.
You know, I'm going to pull
if
up
I'm being honest.
the tweet real quick.
Because I have no spoiler here. I didn't look it up or anything. I was really tempted.
All right.
And this is what Connor's about to bring up is almost as a lock of your friend messing up New Year's. This is a lock every draft season.
Every single draft
Every
season.
draft season, it doesn't matter.
Okay,
It doesn't matter, bro.
All right, I'm going to go. Everybody ready? All right, I got something to say to you, Todd McShay, because you fucking suck. There's an ESPN report that said some believes... Oh, fuck. I said that wrong. Okay, wait, hold on.
We got 2 words in.
Let me restart. All right. Todd McShay, I got something to say to you. You fucking suck, and here's why. You said that you believe Jalen Carter has some quote-unquote character issues that may end up affecting his draft stock. And that is fucking bullshit. It happens every single year, and unless you have a credible source or a specific moment to point out some character issues, fucking shut up, can it? I don't want to hear anything about it, because you said the same thing about Kayvon Thibodeau. He has character issues, and he doesn't hustle enough. Look what he just did on primetime. 12 total Look what he did on primetime. 12 total tackles, 2 sacks, a touchdown. And I mean, every single year, Todd McShay comes out with these character issues that actually end up affecting their draft stock. And they're always bullshit. Always bullshit.
He did so much, Kayvon had you tongue-tied. I don't blame you.
Exactly.
You know, and because I want to bring this up because this is just what I think is funny. You know who a big... Guys, you can't draft him. He has behavioral issues. You know who that was? Do you guys know who the last big defense? Micah fucking Parsons was that guy. Everyone's like, no, I wouldn't touch Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is going to give you behavioral issues. Fuck out of my face.
Okay, well, wait. That is different because there was for real some stuff that came out that he should not have done.
No, but that was the that's the thing is that like tied into it. I was avoiding because like I feel like they were saying just his personality. I know what you mean, but I think they were just saying too like, oh, his personality as a whole is just gonna. And it's like to Connor's point, it's like that's kind of a hard thing to pin on someone.
No,
like,
of course I get that, and I didn't want to like take it away from you or anything, but like there's that.
Oh, we can name other guys too.
Yeah, but like even in that sense, like shut the hell up. Watch him play football. What, you know what I'm saying? And I know that might sound bad for like what he did, but yeah, it obviously, you know what? I'm just gonna shut up on that topic because that's some territory I don't want.
The point is, there's more guys than him. We can name. I can name 7 other guys where they've been the behavioral issue guy. He's gonna fall to the second round guy, and like Connor said, they do, and we're like, why the fuck did this guy go and pick 20?
Yep.
Well, and then to keep knocking down Todd McShay, he said something about Jackson Smith and Jigba. He's like, every NFL scout and everyone thinks that he's healthy and ready to play. Okay? Did you talk to him? Are you the doctor? Did you no, seriously, I want to know because everyone, his brother came out and said, why would my brother sit out of a college football playoff? Like, he's not ready to go. Like, that's not who he is, like, as a person. Like, CJ was like, that's my brother. Like, he wants to be out there just as bad as anyone. He's tried to come back 3 times and play against Toledo. Why would you ever do that? He came on back and wanted to play against Iowa. He played a couple snaps, tweaked it again. Like, there's instances of him wanting to play. Like, it's what happens. It's a hamstring. Those are the worst. Everyone knows that. Like, just shut your mouth. Like, and I'm gonna get into it later. But Dan Orlovsky, you said you came out of the fucking blue, to talk about. Oh yeah, Justin Fields is the last guy in, or last guy in, first guy out. That is so unbelievably wrong, and I know he's hit on it before that he said he was way wrong. Where are you getting this from?
I was going to ask that.
Like, that is ridiculous.
I know most of these guys do have insiders at every NFL team, most likely, because that's where they get a lot of their info, but, like, I feel like some of the stuff is just so wrong.
Like, it's just so bizarre. Like, in the Ryan Day, like, the day after, he's like, this kid's in here at 6 a.m. He's here after people... What? Like, where are you getting this, bro?
Now that you guys are talking about it more, too, it is a wild thing to do to comment on another man when you're not inside the building with them and maybe like you hear whispers of something. That doesn't mean you get to announce it to the world, especially when you have a massive following. And sorry, now I'm getting heated too. That's another issue with the mainstream media too, in all regards, sports, politics, whatever you want to say. Bro, if you have a large audience, you need to be careful of what you're saying because it could get misconstrued. It might not even be true if you're not being careful. So like, I don't know. That actually drives me crazy.
Well, that's why, like, and I was saying that, you guys know me, like, I'm always very careful about what I say, even when I so even if someone like red-handed, because it's like the whole thing of you never know what goes in a situation, all those things like we were saying. It's like, I always am super careful about that. But moreover, with the whole Justin Fields thing, I think, and this is how I look at it, this is how it goes. One guy says who works for Ohio State, Justin's amazing. You know, I just wish maybe he was here an extra couple minutes of practice. And then it goes to the next guy, and the next guy says, you know, Justin, maybe he should he needs to practice a little harder. That gets to a guy who works for Michigan. The guy from Michigan says, yeah, they said Justin doesn't work at all. He needs to get his ass in the... See what I'm saying? Each person it goes to just gets a little bit worse and a little bit worse, which was just initially just like a little comment maybe of something, yeah, he just needs to mature a little bit, and then it just turns into this whole big deal, which it's not. And I think that's what it turns into a lot of the time.
Yeah, I know that's their job and all that stuff.
You're good.
With the mic mishap.
But, like, there comes a certain point where why are you putting out bullshit? Because, like, I put my money Jalen Carter's an A-OK prospect. Put all my money. And I guarantee you to come out next year that he's a great teammate. I'll put every last bit of my money on it.
100%. And the thing is, like, Todd McShay is ESPN's #1 draft analyst. He's the guy that when the draft's going on, his board's the one that's showing. And him coming out and literally speaking on whispers, speaking on fallacies, like, that's it. To me, it seems like a compromise of his own job, his own morals, his own, like, institutions, what make him a reporter, or make him do his job. He's just, like, disregarding it and putting out bullshit. And to be honest, I'm sick of seeing it, and I'm sick of hearing it. He probably should be reprimanded and fired for the bullshit claims that he comes out and says, because that's all it is.
It's every year, and then it goes under the rug once the draft comes around, it's over, and all that stuff, like the mini camps and all that stuff start. That shit is ridiculous.
Well, it's also
I don't
funny
know why that
because
shit keeps going out. I'm really confused.
just take it out real quick and plug it back in. It's also funny too because he still has him like top 5, 2, 3 still. Like, clearly it's not bad enough to the point where it's dropping him.
Right. I don't get it. But
first thing I looked up to, I just typed in Todd McShay, Jalen Carter, and Georgia Bulldog News. UGA players come to defend Jalen Carter after criticism.
Of course.
it's like that. I know it's their teammates and they're never going to badmouth them and stuff like that. Like, I know there's that side of things, and people, I'm sure, will be in the TikTok comments like, oh, is he going to say his teammates bad? What the fuck? But, like, come on. Those guys know more than anything.
And to that point, though, I agree with that. But I think, and you're going to agree with this because it goes along with what you're saying, it's more like people will always not say something bad about their own teammate. But if they agree with the criticism, I think that they won't come to your defense. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Versus, like, they'll just be quiet about both ends. But if they believe in you and in your, well, you know what I'm saying, if they support you, they're going to come speak up for you versus just being quiet. And so I think them speaking up means a lot. If they agree with the claims and shit, they'd be like, well, fuck it. If I agree, then who cares? But they clearly don't. It's like, we want to support our guy. He's never going to be here again. If they disagree with agree with what Todd is saying, there'd be no reason to speak on it. You know, it's like, well, I agree with Todd saying, but clearly not, and it's just the case that we have in our hands now.
This leads me, I'm just going to take the reins here because this kind of like leads into what I want to talk about. And it's more so because we talk about Fields a lot on here, but it's more so like Trevor Lawrence and those guys' stories coming into the league. And it starts with like scouts and all this stuff like, oh, I don't want to take him because Orlovsky said he doesn't come in, first and all this stuff. And this is just where I think it got too cute. And sometimes it happens with a lot of NFL teams. Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields were the #1 and #2 prospects coming out of high school in Georgia. Mm-hmm. In Georgia. They played like 15 miles away from each other.
And they pretty much kept that ranking throughout college, too.
Throughout college, too. So, but like back to the high school thing. If you guys followed it back then, because I did a lot, because it was really cool to see, and I liked watching Elite 11 and stuff like that back then. And those two, they were the talk of the town every time you listened to recruiting and QBs and all this stuff. They went to the Elite 11. Fields won an MVP over him. I believe so. I think.
He did.
Pretty sure he did. And it was a big thing, like, for their rankings and all this stuff. And then it just gets to my point of, like, getting too cute at certain points. These guys in college were the #1 and #2 quarterbacks. It didn't matter what you watched. So, like, that's just what I want to talk about because we do need to give Trevor his credit and how far he's come since last year. And I know he was in a bad spot. He had, I think it's like 14 touchdowns and 1 pick in the past 6 games. Mm-hmm. Like, he is balling out, and it's a blessing for us Bears fans that scouts got too cute because if you redraft that draft, I guarantee those guys would be 1 and 2 in whatever way, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And, like, and back to your scouts thing, like, you don't really have scouts really don't know much. Like, they're just saying stuff. Yeah, a lot of them know a lot of different things, but sometimes it's just like, what are you seeing? What are you looking at? Like, I don't know, because it was clear that those two were the best in college at their times and going to big schools and playing in big games. Like, it's just, I never understood that and how it clicked for them.
I want to take a minute to talk about the Lawrence point. He's been playing so well lately, and like what Dylan said last podcast about the environment and the head coach. I mean, Trevor Lawrence's rookie season was essentially a wash. Like, it didn't fucking happen in my eyes. And now he's had Doug Peterson for a whole entire offseason and for most of the season, and you can see when a quarterback really starts to understand the offense. Like, I don't think it happened until week 10. And you know what? I think that's a fair estimate to say for a guy on his rookie season, quote unquote, to be able to understand how to really run that, how to really take advantage of a defense when you're in that system. And Doug Peterson has created an environment for Trevor Lawrence to help him thrive, to make him thrive. And now that he has a full grasp of the offense, of having 3 wide receivers on the field the whole time, of knowing where his checkdowns are and where he can take advantage of defenses on certain plays, like, Trevor Lawrence has complete control of that offense, complete control of that team, and in my eyes, I think they might come and make the playoffs. They might be AFC South champions this year.
They control the path. I know that. And I want to say too, a little thing on Trevor, because, you know, I've been outspoken for like the couple years you've been in the league where I was never really a big fan. I'm an honest guy, but I eat my takes before it gets too late. I'm an honest guy. Look, the reason I didn't like Trevor a lot, main thing was I always just thought his pocket awareness was very, at a time, it was just lackluster, and he never saw success coming. For me, that was more like, I don't know how long he's going to do this, because he's constantly taking these hits, and it's like, that was for the first, like you said, like 10, 11 games of the season. He flipped a switch where, like you said, the offense is just clicking now. He understands what Doug Peterson's putting out for him. The receiving core and him have great chemistry. He's, you know, with Zay Jones and Christian Kirk, like they like each other. They got a good thing going, and it's working now. And credit to Trevor, because I said a couple weeks ago too, probably not more than a couple, probably like 5, 6 now. But I said Justin's running away with being the best QB of like last year's class. Well, Trevor made me shut up very fast, because as dynamic and as amazing as Justin is right now, T-Law's got to be the best guy throwing the ball, and that's just what it is right now. I mean, T-Law's throwing dots, but Justin still is the most dynamic guy, no doubt about that. But T-Law is very quickly, you know, right back in the race, if not leading it all of a sudden. So credit to him, credit to Doug Peterson. Situations matter.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'm talking now. Everyone looked at me.
We were like flipping it down the table.
The only thing that I thought of while you guys were talking about this too, and me and Connor discussed this a lot, like I think even like in college, like years ago, like I'm really curious to see the next year, because it seems like year 3 is the jumping point, and where you really build off the first 2 years and you kind of make your claim for being a star. So I think both quarterbacks are in a great position next year, and personally, I'm really excited to see both of them. Yeah, I mean, I think they're both running away with being the top 2 quarterbacks in that draft class.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's close either, like, at all.
Isn't it interesting too how like Max seemed to like surprise everyone last year, and now like this year he's just like, eh.
Well,
and now Trevor and Justin
to the
have come out
situation,
of,
go figure. Matt Patricia being your offensive coordinator is gonna fuck you. Like,
That's
go
true.
figure. And it's like,
and they fight a lot too. I know you guys have seen it
all
on
the
TV.
time. It's all
like
the time.
they're
he knows-
yelling at each
if
other.
you could look into his mind, because he's too professional. He's not gonna come say this to the fucking
Yeah.
microphone. But if you could glance into his brain, it would say Matt Patricia is holding me back. It would. He knows that. There's not a doubt about
I'm
it.
just like picturing it like in big flashing lights too.
Like
And
I'm sure he sits there and he's like, "Fuck this, dude! You came and really fucked up my career." And it's like, that's the truth of the matter. Is like, it really is kind of what's happened. Like, they really did. Like, Josh McDaniels leaving is like a huge like, well, wash that. Like you said, if Trevor's first year was a wash, it's true, it was. But that's almost like a wash in the opposite way. Everything he had going for him just doesn't exist anymore. Back to square fucking one with Matt Patricia. I mean, you know, it's like.
And I think you're starting to see more now of Mac Jones's limitations as a quarterback. Like, I don't know. It's nothing flashy. Like, yeah, he makes some of those good throws. You're like, oh, he's got that. But like, there's just really bad ones. And I think he's got to be the guy to like have that perfect situation around him. And he kind of had it last year.
Does.
And he for sure, yeah, he had it last year. McDaniels and the O-line was great. And they obviously didn't have the big name weapons, but like that was a system that worked, obviously. And they got to the playoffs and yeah, ultimately got destroyed. But that was perfect.
We
And
fought
he
about this
needs
a
it.
lot too, and I liked Mac coming out of college, but like I was fully willing to admit, like if he doesn't go to like a team like the Patriots or 49ers. Like, can you imagine Mac on the Jags last
That's
year?
what I was just
bro?
gonna say.
Like,
No,
it'd be
it's not even
terrible.
close. Yeah,
Even right now,
Yeah, like it wouldn't be good. Like, yeah, no, you're right.
He's very limited, and it's I don't know.
well, and this is just a little side note because I want to talk about this for a while. Like, but it's just like, what is it with him? Because I'm all for. Look, I'm not like sitting here trying to like make fun of him or anything, but it's reality. Like, what is this man doing? Like, I see him like damn near crying like once a game. It's like, all right, bro, how old is he now? I mean, I'm serious too. Like, I see him like going to the bench, like on the bench, just sappy, and it's like I get being disappointed, I get being upset, but reality is that's just unless you already like really lost the game, that's just you're bringing all your teammates down, and it's just I look at it incredibly childish. Like, I'm sure they do too. They're like, dude, come on, it's our franchise guy pouting on the bench. Like, are you? And Brady is different. It's different because Brady doesn't start pulling that shit until they're like way down, and when Brady starts pulling that shit, it makes everyone else start to get their shit together. When Mac Jones does it, everyone's like, okay, Mac's crying on the bench again. Fuck me. How old is he? Again, he's 23. Is a huge difference of like Brady being 41, then you're being your uncle telling you to get your shit together versus Mac Jones. It's like, come on.
This might not be the best comparison, but I think it's definitely comparable. And the player I'm about to mention is way worse, and he said way bigger outbreaks of it. But like, it's like some Grayson Allen shit. Like, do you remember when Mac would like he kicked people last year when he was laying on the ground and shit? Like, he
Yes,
did
that was this year.
too.
Yeah, that was
What did
that,
he do last year? Oh, he grabbed someone's
He grabbed
leg.
Brian Burns' ankle and like
Yeah,
twisted
Thanks
it.
for reminding me.
So like, it's kind of like some Grayson Allen shit, to be honest.
And I'm not trying to give him Mac the benefit of the doubt, but like
You're not trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
he's had a tough year. He's had a really tough year.
I'll
he
say.
has.
He had a not a broken ankle, but he had a really fucked up ankle. It's hard to throw on. That's your plant foot, like all this stuff. That's your feet are the most important almost as a quarterback. Is close to your arm, but like sometimes that you got to be a professional, and sometimes like the way you bounce back with it, like getting benched. And like you come back in and like you got to get the guys ready, and I feel like the team would love that a lot more if you just saw him like more fired up and took and ran with the opportunity. So it's like I see where he's getting upset. He's had a long year, hard year, but it's like then again, it's like you're a professional. You're getting paid millions to do this. Figure it out.
I will say, in his defense, that it is probably extremely frustrating to run an offense that at the top is not schematically different or clever in any way. Plus, all of his weapons are at the very least average to below average. Devontae Parker, below average wide receiver 1. Hunter Henry, average. The best players on that offense are the running backs.
Well,
and
what
the
is
O-line.
Mac? Like, the O-line, yeah. Like, what is Mac really supposed to
But
do?
like,
No,
what
that's
about,
true.
But last year though, it's like this. It wasn't
what I'm
the
saying.
same guy.
But he also had
good.
McDaniels.
Yeah, he had McDaniels. Yeah, but like he still has the same weapons as last year. And I know the play calling is a huge part of it,
Yeah.
but like
I think
It's
if anything,
still-
that makes McDaniels look a way lot better. Like
Yeah, yeah.
to be able
Oh,
to
yeah.
vault that offense into something that's somewhat decent to an offense that, to me, is just so unimaginative and like they don't really have anything specifically going for them. So I'd be pretty frustrated too. And to be honest, Bill, like that team is run like they're still in 2012, 2015. Like they think they can win football games by making smart decisions, playing the field, like the sides of it. I can't think of the word, but like they're playing football as if like the defense can still win them games and whatnot. And like the NFL is just so different now. Like yeah, they're 7-7 because Bills still can coach football. It's just like they have nothing going for them.
Well, and
they really don't.
To piggyback off that, because that's a really good point. I gotta look at the camera when I say this because it's true. As much shit as I've given Mac Jones, and I will continue to until he keeps crying in the field. But shout out to Mac. Look, the truth of the matter is, I agree. Talk about someone who's had a rough year. It's Mac Jones, and can't give him too much shit until he gets a real number one receiver. That is a real thing, like you're saying. Look, his receiving options are just incredibly subpar, and there's no lying about it. He isn't making it work. It's a huge drop off, but give him a number one guy. We'll reevaluate the situation, but right now it's just not. Things just don't look good.
I still think Mac's gonna have a fine career and won't be anything special, but he'll be solid and he'll probably make the playoffs every so often and whatnot. Like he's in a position to make the playoffs this year. Almost he's close. That loss really hurt them, but yeah. I mean, like he's fine.
Kirk
yeah.
Cousins tier.
Literally, yeah.
I think that's basically exactly. That's like perfect comparison.
Some
perfect,
quarterbacks
yeah.
are just
My head-
built for that.
My
Yeah.
head just lit up like I was like the most diet version of Kirk Cousins
There's just-
that you can imagine, bro.
There's to To me, the quarterbacks in the league, it's the elite ones that have the physical tools and that can really do it all, and then it's just the Kirk Cousins. And there are some people that come into the league as a Kirk Cousins. Tua Tagovailoa will always be a Kirk Cousins tier quarterback, even if he's putting up crazy numbers. We just know who he is. And
Kirk's putting up crazy numbers this year. Maybe not crazy, but really good ones.
Exactly, but you know in your heart that he's still a Kirk Cousins tier quarterback.
Yeah.
And this is actually a question I wanted to do before we got into the Mac Jones train. Next year, the Jaguars are going to get Calvin Ridley. Where do you see Trevor Lawrence jumping tiers into? Because
I think
right now,
For fantasy or just
no, just
what do
like
we talk
just
about
play.
when you get your guy a receiver? And let's not forget what Kelvin was on the Falcons when he had his time to shine too. Like, I think it's gonna help him out so much. And Zay Jones is I'll take him as a 3.
As a 3?
He's making plays.
But that's what I'm saying. It's
You got Calvin, Christian Kirk. Like, that's a lot of speed, a lot of good route running.
Evan
Zay is
Ingram's not
underrated.
bad.
I'm glad you mentioned it because he is just underrated.
but this
Christian
is
Kirk?
no, Zay, but Christian
Zay
is
and
too.
Zay,
I mean,
yeah.
I think this is more of a testament to who Trevor Lawrence is. No one's really. He was in Buffalo last year. Zay was, and he was with the Raiders before, and you haven't really seen like much of him. And now Trevor, yeah, he's had some drop issues. Zay has. I'll put that out there. But like, Trevor's kind of making him into something. Like, oh, this guy, we kind of got to guard him. Like, yeah, the guy throwing him the ball is great, but like, you got to respect him at some point as a receiver, and I think that's a pretty solid core coming into next year. And to answer Connor's question, I don't want to sound like crazy, but like,
I'm thinking it
I
too.
think he for sure sets himself right up in the top 10. Yeah, I think it's just.
I thought that was like a given top 10.
Yeah, I was gonna
for
say
sure.
like top 7. Like,
So-
Based off of like, if he's able to carry his last 6 weeks into next year, like it's top
And-
10 play easily.
and people might be like, oh, recency bias, blah 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 blah. No, I don't give a damn. Like, I've seen enough from the kid that he's gonna be good and whatnot, and it's just a matter of time where he really pops off, and it's probably gonna be even more so next year if Calvin comes back at the same.
To me, I think Trevor Lawrence is going to be in the tier of Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine.
All right. Well, yeah, I know there's more. I was looking at the helmets and I see
Well, it's
Bills,
just funny
Chiefs,
the person
and
that you
Bengals.
said
You
and the person
fucking-
you left out.
Right, you fuck with Herbert a lot.
Okay, Herbert gets in there.
You
he
fuck with
wasn't,
him heavy.
He wasn't
No,
by
you're
the
a pe- you're a pe-
helmets.
He's right here.
Oh yeah, no, I know, but I was looking at the top 3.
that's a clip.
Oh, the top 3 were. It's right
Bills,
in front. Bills,
Chiefs, and
Chiefs.
I don't give a
Bengals.
damn.
Herbert's in that tier too, man. I'm
You
not,
should
not
know.
blanking
You
him.
should know.
I am on your side for
you-
like all of that.
No, you blanked.
All right.
Can I throw something real quick? Because this is something
And then let's move on to the next one.
real
too,
quick
yeah.
though, because this is real stuff. I mean, the Jaguars' O line for what we expected, they're not that, and Trevor still makes it work. Like they're playing Connor agrees. They're playing about half of what I thought they were capable of.
That's
at
what baffles
best.
me. It baffles me how bad they are.
Screw that. They're playing at 25% of what we thought they were able to play at, and he's making it work. If they're playing at what they're getting paid to and what they should be playing at, T.Law could be a top 10, top 5 guy right now. Like it.
Imagine if the Jaguars got Teron Armstead instead of the Dolphins. Teron Armstead is a left tackle for Jacksonville, and then that offense. Like
They're gonna
that
look to make a
is
splash like that this free agency.
They need
have
to.
to, yeah.
They need to.
Well, and it also doesn't help. They announced
a
Cam
great point,
Robinson
though.
tore his meniscus today too. So
I saw that.
Oh,
they got a big game coming up on Thursday night.
Holy shit! I need them to go crazy.
They got a big
Can we
game.
transition into one of my questions?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Because I think it works well. So mine is bad teams becoming good? Question mark. And the Jets are 7-7. The Lions are 7-7. The Jags are 6-8, and the Giants are 8-5-1. Were these all teams with like top 7, top 8 picks last year?
Jets were number 1. The Lions were number 2. The Giants had the Bears pick, but I think they also set at 10 or something like that as
Mhm.
well.
Yep.
And
Jags were like 3 or 4.
No, they had the number 1 pick.
They
Or the
stole
Jags
Kayvon
had the number 1
last
pick.
year.
Oh, you can't-
Jets had the number
4.
3, 4 pick.
'Cause they got
Lions
sauce,
had the
yeah.
2 pick, and
Okay,
Giants
so
had
these are
2
all
in the
top 10 teams, not good teams. What do you guys see for them, and who do you think is actually going to make the jump next year to being like a legitimate team and like someone that we're like, all right, like we expect them to make the playoffs this year, and who will just be like this is kind of a fluke type year? Actually, let's rank them.
I like that.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
By future? Or
Yeah.
by next year?
By future.
If you do
future.
future, that fucks me over because it's like it's hard
We could
because
do
It's
next
really hard.
year, then.
no. We can do future, whatever you want.
Well, I guess my question was more based off
Yeah.
of next year. Like, who do you think will like replicate this performance
Okay.
next year?
Okay, that's fair.
And who would even be better? Because like they're all 500. It's not. They're not good yet.
I'm
but-
gonna say it goes Jags, Jets, Lions, but I think there's a nice gap, not a gap, like a small gap between Lions and Jets.
What
for
if we
2
all
and
made a
3.
case for it? Like, I can make a case for any of these teams.
Yeah, same.
I look, he could.
But
Pick a team and make a case for it.
I want to do the Lions.
all right, I'll do the Jags.
I'll take the Giants.
I don't know
Yeah, I'll
what
do
does
the
that leave?
Jags. I'll do the
Jets.
Jags.
Jets.
Oh, sweet.
I'm going with Jags here. It's like not because I have to, but no, like we kind of just already hit on it. I mean, once you have your guy at QB, it's almost like it's chopped cheese the rest of the way, kind of. I know you got to fill in like holes and all that stuff, but once you have him, and you always preach this, I think you've been preaching it for years now. Like you got to have an elite guy to go win a Super Bowl, and he could be finding his way into that. The defense is okay. It's not like horrible like the
I think
Lions.
they spent the most money. They're
Probably
paying their
towards
defense the most.
And they've had a couple picks that way, Trayvon Walker and Devin Lloyd, and they have a couple young corners, I believe, or something like that. So
Mhm.
I think they've got it set up. And I didn't even hit on the coach yet, Doug Peterson. He just won a Super Bowl with Nick Foles, for fuck's sake. I know Carson Wentz was having a great year, but like he still took a team to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. He's a good coach. And
Also, not that great of a offensive supporting cast too.
it's not great, but I think it's okay though. I think it's
oh no,
above
no.
it.
I'm talking about the Eagles. When
Oh,
they
the
won
Eagles?
Super Bowl.
Oh, Alshon Jeffrey.
They had Nelson
Alshon,
Aguilar looking
bro.
like an all-pro.
Nelson, like, come on.
Trey Burton, like Corey Clement, LeGarrette Blount, like
Corey
running-
Clement.
Yeah,
Like,
their
that's
their
the
O
most
line,
average offense
their
of
O line
all
was
time.
great.
Shout out Corey, man.
And but now it just opens your mind up, like, what is he gonna do when he has this, like, it's set down, and that always like makes me like go back to college coaches and recruiting, and people are always so hard on like college coaches that suck in the first year. It takes time to build a culture. Like, give it a second. And for what Doug Peterson's doing right now, I think it's a phenomenal job. I mean, they were down in the dumps, and now they're looking to win the AFC South. So, I mean, their future is incredibly bright.
Like, I'll say before I go into my Giants thing, just a little side note. Doug Peterson's always seemed like the type of guy I would love to play for. I look at him, I'm like, that guy seems like he can lead a locker room. I think I'd vibe on that team. But it's just a little shout out to the Jags. So I'm going with the Giants. I get the best right now scenario, and I think it kind of translates to what I'm going to say here. So, Giants 8-5-1 right now. Surprise this year. So how are they going to get better? Well, next year you got a decision. Are we going to keep Daniel Jones? Are we going to shoot for something else? I think Daniel's kind of buying himself in at this point. I think they're looking. If I was looking at him, I'd say, look, man, we can make something work where I give you middle upper tier money for like 2 years. It's nothing long. I'll give you money to solidify yourself the next year or two. Enough money so that even if you suck, you can retire and be happy. But I'm not gonna give you top dollar but you can stay on the franchise. Prove me you're worth that top dollar money. I'll give it to your next contract if we can win these next 2 years. Help us get to the playoffs, at least win a game. I'll give you that long-term contract. Like, prove to me you're worth it. I'll give you something short right now. So they give you, and they're kind of in a situation where they can ask for that, and I think will abide by it. So they kind of are putting themselves in that good position where you can get a budget quarterback who might be able to play above that value for those 2 years, which is what I thought was going to happen with Jameis. But besides just that, got a great defense, got one of the best nose tackles in the league. We talk about how important the nose tackles are. And you got Kayvon, young, up and coming, going to be one of the best edges in the league soon. A lot of just good pieces on that defense. The O-line is young. They're getting better each year. You already have your two most important pieces on the O-line. You have your two young cornerstone tackles. Giants have a lot of important things. They just need to get the QB situation all the way down. I think they will.
They also have
Dable's amazing.
their coach. Yeah,
that's
I was gonna say.
coach. You guys know me. Most important thing on the team besides the QB and then rest. It's right there up with it. So I say the Giants easily could have the best situation. 100%.
Ah, fuck. The Jags have their 30th in cap next year.
What?
Yeah, well, they also gave Christian Kirk
they spent a lot of money.
I mean, their
Ingram,
defense
too.
is really expensive.
Yeah.
Well, they're playing better recently, so
that's fine.
There you go.
You got some draft picks, and you'll figure it out. And Calvin Ridley coming.
Connor,
too.
do you want to go next?
You can go. I'm still formulating my argument.
Oh, shit.
Love it. All right, so mine is the Lions, and I think that now that you say it, just having the guy, I think you have to put the Jags number one. But the case for the Lions is that, as our talks have been saying, like, Jared Goff is good enough. I don't think they'll win a bowl with him. They'll go to the playoffs. I think they could win the NFC North with Jared Goff easily, I think. Their defense definitely needs to get worked on quite a bit. I think they'll address it in the draft, like, very heavily, because O-line looks great. Amon-Ra, dog. Jameson Williams has been balling out. A lot of the supporting cast has too. Swift, Jamal Williams, like, they have an offense, and it's very good. And let me just say, I've been preaching a lot. Ben Johnson, I think he is going to get a lot of recognition, whether it's this offseason or next year after he does a phenomenal job again. But I don't know. It's very exciting in Detroit. I definitely believe in them, as much as that pains me to say because of the Bears. But yeah, they're on fire right now. And I honestly think they're going to make the playoffs, because I'll pull up their schedule again. They don't really have that many hard games left.
I know they play the Bears again.
Bears, Packers, and someone else that's not good.
I don't know if it's Vikings. No, I don't think it's Vikings. But before you go, Connor, I have to issue an apology, and my apology is to Dan Campbell. I'm fucking sorry, man. I'm sorry.
They play the Panthers as well. So
oh, okay. So, but hey, could be scrappy do.
True.
But I would take them in a scrappy do fight because
Scrappy-Doo?
a scrappy do fight
because of mini Scooby Doo.
Because of Dan Campbell, who I am apologizing to, and I think we have to go back, because when I came on here and I said I wasn't a big fan of Dan Campbell and like all of his rah-rah stuff, I think it like ran out. I think it was around the time, like a week after they started like winning games and going on a streak. So maybe I jinxed him in a good way, but I do have to apologize. He's got the boys. Hey, Scrappy Doo. But he's got the boys fighting, and like you said, Ben Johnson's doing well, and I don't know. I'm sorry. I didn't read you. That's my bad. I didn't know your game.
I wasn't familiar with your game.
Yeah, I wasn't familiar with your game, and I apologize, because you've got the boys buzzing and you got Detroit buzzing. So
can I say something to that? This entire Detroit Lions winning record, whatever, they've been winning a lot of games. Every time I see the Lions win a game, I always think about the quote that Dan Campbell has said on Hard Knocks. The Lions are a team in 2023. The reporter asked him a question like that, and he said, the Lions are a team that can and that will. And, like, you can interpret that however you want, but the Lions can make the playoffs, and they will make the playoffs. He didn't have to say it like that, but he just knew that. He thought about that question for, like, 10 minutes, and he's like, the Lions can and they will. And I'm like, every time they win a game, I'm like, holy shit, he was fucking right. Yeah. And nobody thought that they would be doing this. Yeah. But he fucking knew.
He's sick.
Also, the fact that they've been in a lot of games that they lost through their first 8 when they went 1-7. Like,
they could be like 10-3, legitimately.
Right.
I mean, they lost a close game on Thanksgiving to the Bills.
Bills.
Yeah, they were fighting that one at home. They said that was
that their last loss?
Yeah, I think so. That was 4 weeks ago. Something like that.
Well, they've won 6 in a row. Right?
I don't know.
They were
No,
1-7.
I think they've won 6 of their last 7 or something like that.
I think
that might have been the one loss.
Yeah. But, I mean, I shouldn't have doubted him from the start, because someone who says in their introductory, I think it was their introductory press conference, that like the kneecaps thing, yeah, you're a sicko and you're going to figure it out. So that's on me. And, I mean, if my coach told me, hey, we're going to go bite off some kneecaps this weekend, what do you say? Like, that's sick.
Fired up.
You're going to get fired up.
Like, fucking bouncing off the walls.
That's awesome. So, shout out to him and shout out the Lions.
Yeah, wait a minute. Weird head coaches, the new trend. Mike McDaniel and Dan Campbell, when they first came out, I would say that a safe amount of people would say, like, I don't think they're going to work.
I also want to make
Mike McDaniel's going to find himself into some trouble.
Whoa.
We didn't touch on this.
What a weird allegation.
I'm just saying, like he's just gonna put a bigger target on their back, like that shirt he wore during practice. Like, oh, we want more cold. Okay, well, you lost, you idiot. Like, no, you don't. You were bitching about snowballs.
That's like Nick Sirianni wearing the shirt.
But he addressed that too. Like, he's like, oh, I shouldn't have worn that beat Dallas shirt. Like, there's something.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
That was cornball when I remember that shirt. That was corn.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting a target.
I will say,
he's entering the corny.
No, I'm not saying corny. There's just certain things that you probably shouldn't do, because it's just better off just like grinding and just getting the shit done.
Let it be said.
Mike McDaniel's a goat. Come on.
No. I'm not saying like anything coaching wise. Like, he's a great coach for what he's doing with Tua. God bless him, because I don't know who can figure that out. That's another day. But like, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, in that sense of things, where, like, why do you need to wear it? We want it to be colder. Why do you need to wear that? That's just giving the other team, juice.
And he's doing it for the media too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's what makes it a little bit corny.
That's what
I
makes
love
it
Mike.
cornball,
That's
though.
that is a little. This was a little.
We're all
I'll
pro
defend
Mike
Mike
here.
9 out of 10, but that was a little bit of a corny move with the shirt. I did forget about that.
Don't
Kinda
start
loves it.
sipping Tyler's hater.
No. You know, Mike is
just a
still my
hater,
guy.
man.
Mike is still my guy. Mike's
Bro,
still my
I said-
favorite. He is. But
just-
that was a little bit of a bulletin board move.
I praised him for
You're a hater, bro.
for doing
Just
what
in
he's
your
doing
blood.
with Tua.
I want to say one last thing, and then we'll jump to Connor with the Jets. But there's a very clear distinction between Dan Campbell, like kind of being corny and saying some stuff that's like super rah-rah and inspirational, and like Nathaniel Hackett. So
There's a fine line. It's hard.
it is a very fine
It's
line.
hard.
But if you can back it up like Dan Campbell does, because I know damn well he's probably doing push-ups with the team. He's probably doing
He
everything.
was doing push-ups.
Right. So like
yeah.
Nathaniel Hackett's not doing push-ups with the team, bro.
And I think the difference is actually just believing. Like, the Lions were close when they would lose a lot of games, and the team is still believing. They're like, we can do this. You got Nathaniel Hackett coming in the locker room like, we just got to keep fighting. We just got to keep fighting. And you're like, no, the fuck we don't. You need to get the fuck out of here, and we don't need to keep you. You're the problem. And that's the difference, I think. The big key difference is they look at Hackett, you are the problem, versus Dan Campbell. They know the team sucks. We're not supposed to even be anywhere close to winning these games. You got Dan like, we almost won. And they're like, yeah, we did. Like, let's go. You know what I mean? Like, the expectation is just so much different.
Facts. I didn't hate McDaniel, bro. Damn.
All right, whatever, man. It's my turn.
I know it is. Have fun. And if you say Zach Wilson's in their plans, I will kill you.
Hey, he looked somewhat decent last game.
Zach.
He did. He was making some nice throws.
Did you see the
interception
interception?
was a bonehead throw.
Oh, Uzuma?
But that's only one.
oh, you-
That's only one
that's
throw
a
out of
crazy
the
little
like
throwback
30.
pass?
Oh, the tight end throwback. Oh my God, it's so special.
Okay, whatever. He made some nice throws. Though.
Stop.
Can you give him? All right, I'm not even
I'm
gonna
not
ask
gonna
you to
give
give
him
him some
flowers.
credit.
He had them in the game.
I'm not gonna
He had
give
them
him.
in the
The
game.
only bad
He
throw is the
looked
interception
nice.
with the when it's his feet. When he gets ahead of himself with his feet and he starts doing stupid shit with his feet, he always throws some dumb shit. You
Learning
just got to keep your
curves.
feet on the ground, Zach. Like get your body squares. Whenever he tries to like do that shit, and then you're like,
Newsflash, bud.
We gotta-
Those learning curves can't be happening when your team wants to win ball games. Okay?
Yeah, I get that. All right. The reason the Jets are going to be the best team out of this group next year is because the roster is fantastic. I think we all can agree on that. From 53 out of 54 people on that roster, the one piece that they're missing is a quarterback. And the free agent quarterbacks this year are going to be Tom Brady, Lamar Jackson, Jimmy G, Geno Smith, and Andy Dalton. And I think no matter who out of that group that they get, if it's Tom Brady, if it's Lamar, if it's Jimmy G, the Jets can win a lot of games with a quarterback like that. And I'm fairly certain they're going to be active in that market. So put Jimmy G on an offense with a healthy Breece Hall, Michael Carter, Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, even Denzel Mims, Uzuma, Conklin. Like, Jimmy G can work with that. A lot of people can work with that. And the defense is so good. So I think the Jets are going to be the best of that group.
I think Andy Dalton would be able to lead them to the playoffs. The way he's
Absolutely.
playing this year, they would be
100%.
Boy, he'd be balling right there.
100%.
Wait a second. Interesting.
What are you thinking? What are you thinking?
Jimmy G.
Open up that brain.
Jimmy G with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What do the Niners and the Jets have in common?
What
Great
do they have in
defenses,
common?
right?
Yeah.
Great defenses.
Yes.
Got some weapons. Obviously, the Niners got better weapons, right?
Right. Jets are they're nice though.
Yeah,
In their own
no,
right.
they're good. They're good in their own right.
100%.
Salah came from the Niners.
Keep going.
You know, you need a defense to lean on you when you ain't going well on offense.
Exactly.
Jimmy G, game manager, Breece Hall. Like, it's like the same situation almost. Going to familiar. You know, Salah's familiar. Like, those are two
Exactly.
comparables. Like, if you get Jimmy G, that's the same. It's almost
What
the same
just
thing.
happened?
He's propping Jimmy G for the Jets.
I was literally reading TikTok comments for the next segment just so I can say something. And then I like look up and Tyler's talking all quiet and monotone and like,
We were rolling I was pumping coal into his engine for the train.
I kind of think I'm on the
Jimmy
train
G
now.
to the Jets would be kind of fire.
Wait a second.
Playoff team for sure, I think.
Jimmy G.
Not for sure, but
Jimmy G. You're a Jet.
Ooh.
You're a Jet.
Oh shit.
Remember
been
this.
crowned.
they were 16th in
This is
cap.
this is like a hot Jet moment. I think we might be onto something right here.
Hot Jets.
They could give him like a 2 years,
I'm telling you, it's the
40
same.
mil or something.
Quote this: if Jimmy G wins a bowl on the Jets, I'm buying a jersey. 100%. we'll on the show and everything. There's like a 100 chance of that happening. But if it happens,
Jimmy G to East Rutherford, fire.
It's basically the same situation, man.
Isn't it sad that I was going to say Big Apple, but I can't because they actually play in New Jersey?
Yeah, it's like ever since we found that out, it's like a myth. It's like, it sounds like a myth, but once you really know it, you can't look at the NFL the same. Every NFL fan's like, no, the New York Giants are like, they're not New York, buddy. Da-na-na. They're like, little do you fucking know.
That's like a big like thing too. I get they're right next to each other, but like, I don't know.
I mean,
Come on. You can't play in New York?
The Chicago Bears ain't playing in Chicago anymore soon.
Yeah.
I think it just has to do with the taxes the
But
stadium would
also-
cost or something. It's weird.
Also, that's a whole nother thing. Like
Yeah, that's
New
true.
Jersey, New York.
Yeah, facts. They're just
fuck
playing in a
New
different
York.
little city, yeah.
I went to the fucking Bulls Knicks game. The Bulls got blown out by 30.
Shit on.
After the game, I kept going,
By
"You
the
fuck you New
Knicks."
Yorkers."
I think I'm blown by the Knicks.
Yeah, D Rose came out
Don't-
though.
don't
Oh, this was
sleep.
vintage. Oh, no, you're just talking about when D-Rose was on the Knicks.
Yeah, no, and yeah, there was like this weekend. D Rose came out for like the last 20 seconds of the game and hit a 3. It was really cool.
That is raw.
Yeah, it was dope.
Hey, don't sleep on the Knicks, man. They won 7 in a row. Playing.
I know. What the fuck's up? All right,
Playing
no
some good
no
numbers.
basketball
Dobbs,
talk.
would you like to lead us into one of your questions?
basketball.
You're gonna get me
So
all
I'll-
hyped up.
I'll lead you guys into one of my questions. All right, so
We got to be a little bit more.
well, this is a nice.
this
This one will
one.
be nice and quick. I think it's gonna be nice and quick. You can kind of give a little response. But are the Chiefs slumping at the perfect time? Because I'd say you can't pick a better time to slump than this, especially when you have an all-world quarterback and an all-world coach.
I feel like that's like kind of the thing, like with dominant
And then you mean
teams.
like they pick it up again right before
Yeah,
the
because
playoffs?
correct me if I'm wrong. Was this not exactly like what the Bucks did a few years ago when they went on the run? I remember they sold it right before the Yoffs. I'm like, the Saints are going to for sure take advantage in the playoffs because we beat them 2 times in the regular season. Not how it went.
And I feel like some of these teams prefer that. Like get those, sluggish games. Like the Chiefs outgained the Texans by like thousands of yards. It seemed like yesterday, but like they were still in it because they were miscues and just mental mistakes and stuff, like fumbling the ball and stuff like that. But like I feel like some of these teams prefer to get this slump like right before you got to get ready to go into that playoff run, because then you get out the crinks and all that stuff. Like when they lost to the Bengals, like Kelsey fumbled, lost them in the game and stuff like that. So like I think it's okay. I would never panic about the damn Chiefs. Like they'll figure it out, and they're a team that can get hot at moments notice.
And I think it's like a mental thing too. It really does come down to, I think, it's like a subconscious thing. But when you've already experienced really bad games against really bad opponents, it's kind of like, and follow me here. If you don't have those games in the regular season, you get to the playoffs, and you start playing bad. This doesn't feel right. We haven't had this yet. The fans don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on. We're not used to what's going on. You can't process what's going on when you haven't had that bad game. When you've already hit rock bottom for what your expectations are in the regular season, you know what it's going to feel like. The fans know what it feels like. The atmosphere, everyone's already experienced. It's not like a complete shell shock when it happens. Versus, I'll use the Saints in. What year was it? It was when we were 13-3 and we got beat by the Vikings the first year. We had like no bad games that regular season. We had a really good regular season, and we went in the playoffs like we're gonna at least make the NFC
When
Championship.
the Vikings beat you in New
first round
Orleans,
exit, and I'll use that season as my perfect example. Like we didn't have those games in the regular year, and so when it happened in the playoffs, they didn't have to adjust. Nothing was right. It was like that was our first we're fucked game. We didn't have any adjustments for it.
I'm not even trying to like sound corny or anything, but like it really is about going through adversity and trials and tribulations. Like if you can endure adversity and like beat a team like the Texans, I know they got helped out with the fumble at the end and whatever, but like you have to go through those things so then you're ready for them in the playoffs when it comes to that time, if that makes sense.
No, you 100% do, because if you don't,
just took the words out of my mouth. I was about to say that. Yeah.
it's like it's a mental
Come on,
thing.
man.
You got to know the feeling before it happens,
Yeah.
so that when it happens, you're like we're fine. We've been here.
You're
Right.
prepared for it, and you're not spooked. Yeah.
Spin zone. The Chiefs haven't slumped. They played a team, the Bengals, that can go toe to toe with a big team like the Chiefs, and the Texans are fucking feisty, man.
They
Chiefs are
fight.
feisty.
They fight.
That's
Just
all I'm gonna
just
say.
the week before, they were
Toe to toe with the Cowboys. Yeah.
toe to toe with 2 of the best teams in the league,
Yeah.
and they seem to fucking love
I
being
wanted
underdogs.
them to win that for Lovey so bad. He looked so gassed up on the sideline. I was like, just give Lovey something good. This might be the last NFL game. I mean, legitimately, this might be like these are probably the last NFL games he's going to coach. I mean, let's be realistic for a second.
Absolutely.
Who's going to give him a head coaching job again? He's getting older. And this, I want to see them. Let's stay on the pod. Let's win one more for Lovey, man. Come on, Texans. Like one more for Lovey. You know what I mean? Just give that man a good send off. Exactly. Let's send Lovey off, the Chicago legend in the right way. Shout out to Lovey, man.
You know, the thing that I am upset with Lovey about is, like, I feel like with a bad team like that, he should be really developing his younger players. And, like, the top 3 pick in the draft, Derek Stingley, he hasn't asked him to do anything this year other than play frickin' underneath in his little Tampa 2 zone.
Tampa 2, baby.
I know.
Exactly. Like every snap.
That's great for, like, actually trying to win games, but, like, when you know that you're the worst team in the league, don't you want to develop some young talent? Like, let Derek go man-to-man sometimes. Like, let him do something. But, like,
I think
His main skill.
yeah.
I think here's your problem with that, though. Like, the whole team needs to be developed at this point. Like, there's nothing.
I mean, no, yeah.
I get what you're saying, like your top pick and stuff like that, but like, I mean,
At least
can
let
you
him
name
do
like
something.
one bright spot, really?
Chris Moore's been playing well.
Chris Moore.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
maybe get him some more PT. I don't know. Like,
I know.
Don't forget about Laramie.
yeah.
Pierce.
Oh,
I
before
mean,
he
but
got
he's
hurt?
developed.
But
though.
like that's
He's
what I'm saying.
developed.
Laramie's developed. Like, I understand there's a point where you should be developing, but it's
Petrie's
like
been-
Petrie's been okay too.
Yeah,
I
you're
like
right,
Petrie,
you're
but
right.
like
Set his ups and
there's
downs.
so many of like
I wanna see
there's
Brevin
so many
Jordan.
guys. Is he hurt? He might be hurt or something.
Oh, really?
I don't know because
I don't know. He wasn't really playing when he was healthy. So.
I enjoyed him at Miami.
Yeah, he was sick.
Yeah, he's a big
A fun college guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I can't really. The Texans are by far they're at the lowest point of low points.
Sure.
All right, you guys want to go? Tyler, you want to do one?
Yeah, well, Dobbs says it. It's gonna be quick. I don't know if you guys have anything to get back into it, like to add into this, but like the Sunday night game yesterday.
Oh my
What are we doing, man? And I feel like it's like every time I'm always talking about the refs because I sound like a fucking complainer. And guess what? Like I kind of am in this situation, and you can go on Twitter like this is I fell asleep last night and I had a tired long weekend.
I know, because if you were awake, you would have been.
Oh, I would have been blowing down group chats. I would have been so sick. But like my brother woke me up like right about like when it was about to happen, so like I kind of saw it. But like, come on, what is happening? Like I don't get it. Terry looked at the.
I want to
ref.
say something about the Terry
What?
thing because watching it live, he was really far off the ball. First of all, he looked over and the ref went like this, and then he like kind of glanced back, and I don't really know what happened. But as soon as Terry turned his head around, his hand
He had his.
on the flag.
It didn't
Yeah.
matter what Terry did in that situation. His hand was
Yeah,
on the flag
yeah.
from the start.
So I don't know if like
Where are you getting this from? Like I'm so confused.
I'm just saying I think there might have been miscommunication with Terry and stuff.
Yeah,
but
because he said Terry did.
it was
say he
weird
asked him
because
twice.
he looked at him again, and then it looked like he was fine, like he was just ready for the play. But then the ref's hand went right down to the flag.
right to the pocket.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. And not even the Curtis Samuel. Oh my God.
That was bad.
Those are PIs every day of the week and twice on Sundays, but you want to call those underthrown ball PIs all the time. But you don't want to see this. That game last night was one of the biggest games of the year for those
The
respective
Commanders,
teams. And like
they might not make the playoffs now because of
they
it.
are. Those teams are fighting for playoff spots, and you're going to do that in such a key situation. I think it's wrong. Something needs to be done to the NFL refs. Like there's got to be a point where it's like, what are you doing? And on part of my take, I think it was, it might have been on PMT, where they talked about like, why don't the refs have press conferences or something like to answer like what the fuck they did, because the players got to answer to it. Like it's unreal, and they just have to. It's a little note that gets written and put on the NFL Twitter account, and then it's like blown over the next couple of days. Like we got to do. There's got to be something, and I know I'm not a voice to like put this going forward, but it's just so bad. I know there were so many people on Twitter yesterday that were so upset about it. Matt Berry, I know I saw David Carr was like something about the gambling sponsorships and all that stuff, and I'm not trying to say it's rigged, but I mean, if you watched a football game for the first time in your life yesterday and you watched the ending of that, you could maybe consider it being rigged.
So let me piggyback off this because I have a lot to say, and I think I have a lot of good stuff to say too. So here's my thing: is it's never that it's rigged. I don't stand that it's rigged. But what I stand on is that a lot of the times refs know, because of the leadership of the NFL, the entire organization, they know who they would prefer to win. Even if it's not directly said, they know who the preferred team that should get the win is for market ship, for viewership, for value, for all that. It's undoubtedly a real thing, as we've seen. So look, yesterday, I used the comparison of the New York market versus the DC market. Who's going to bring more money come playoff time? Who's going to bring more money? It's just, that's all a real thing the way I look at it. And it's not even just the Giants game. The Patriots game where Buddy caught the touchdown and he's like, it's not even close. He's clearly out of bounds. And more than that, he's clearly not in bounds. It's very clear he's not, regardless of whether he's out or not, it's very clear that it's 50-50 enough that I'm not calling him in bounds. You know what I mean? And it's just, well, go figure, Las Vegas market, I'm sure, is bringing in a lot of money. And besides the point here, really what it comes down to is what really makes me upset at this whole subject, and I can't get over it, is it seems like a majority of fans in the NFL are very on the side of almost on the side of the refs, well, dude, they're humans, they're going to make bad calls, we can't rely on it all the time. No, I don't look at it like that, because it's funny, because it just doesn't, and I'm not trying to sound like a dick, but I'm just going to be a dick for a second, because this is how I look at it. Every time I see a fan make that assumption or make that statement on Twitter of dude, just get over it, the refs aren't always going to be right, sometimes it's just how it goes. It's always someone who's a fan of a team that fucking sucks. And I'm sorry, and I think they look at it almost no expectation, well, my team's never won anything, my team doesn't win when they make the playoffs, so fuck it, if the ref gets it wrong, the ref gets it wrong, who really cares? But I don't look at it like that, because I've seen the squad get ripped away from a championship game because of it, so I can never look at it that way again. If you look at a ref's mistake well, it's just one game and that's the way it is, I look at it as that could literally dictate the entire future of your season, as it can, which is 100% how it is. So if we're going to make it so we can review a few plays, why would we not be able to review all of them? And you say to me, well, dude, I don't want to sit through a whole game of them reviewing things tick for tack, yada, yada. It doesn't have to be like that. I think it's really easy to have a group full of people with integrity to say, no, that was really egregiously, very possibly something else. We need a group of 50 guys to say, we need to review it right now. It's going to be a minute-long review tops. They have a bunch of guys from a bunch of different angles at once that come to a consensus. It can't be that hard. I promise you there's an easier way to do this. We have professional guys that watch it.
Already. They spot the people.
They stop the game for that, and it's important, right? I think it's getting the right result in the game is important.
No,
is it not?
I'm just saying,
I know you're not. I'm just saying, they're both important.
Yeah.
So it's why does...
And they're already doing it for certain situations, like the concussion thing.
And obviously, player health is more important. But I think the result of the game is very important as well. And it's if we're just going to brush by something that literally changes the outcome of someone's entire season because of commercial breaks, then how much does this really matter to them? I don't even know what to say anymore, because it's so obvious. If you're not, I sound like an asshole, but if you're not numbskulled to me, that to an extent there's shit going on. And I tell you, there's just shit going on. I don't know exactly what it is. No one does, but there's clear as day, not full. What's the word here? Transparency.
Because the Commanders and Patriots kind of got screwed out of playoffs really fast.
I get heated so much talking about this every time, because it's been for years. It's not like this is even just a new thing this year. This is just what we were used to. We've kind of just accepted it. Well, the refs suck. And that's just, to me, that's not okay. We should not say the people that control the sport, they just suck, and it's fine, because that's not okay at all.
I've got a couple things to say about this. And usually I don't really have an opinion about, calls and whatnot, because the issue is not that, refs make bad calls. We understand that, up here, we do get that. It's a sport. So the refs aren't going to get it every time. The issue with the referees is accountability. And it's not just the referee's fault, it's the entire league's fault. Because when I think about officiating and accountability, I honestly think the MLB does a great job of the behind-the-plate umpires have an accuracy score for balls, strikes, and whatnot. Okay, I get that, because their job behind the plate is to call balls and strikes. The referees on the football field, they all have jobs too. They're all in different spots of the field. They all have their own individual jobs. And I know it's not as cut and dry as baseball and balls and strikes are, but there is a way that you can do and make an accuracy score for every position of the referees on the football field. The guy behind the entire team, his job is making sure the quarterback's in the pocket if he's not doing intentional grounding and whatnot. He has his own set of responsibilities, and the reason why people get upset is because there's no accountability into how he's calling the game, because there's no system afterwards that the league goes, okay, let's review the calls that we missed. Let's review the calls that were called that maybe we're incorrect, and let's see what each person that's refereeing the game, how often are they missing this call? How often are they getting this call right? And when you have an accuracy score like that, when you hold the refs accountable, then you can see where, some people might not be fit to run that sort of side of the field. Or, maybe the best, most accurate people are the ones that referee in the Super Bowl. the accountability part with the referees comes from not having an overall accuracy score. There are holds all the time that just don't get called. And if the NFL had a set of people that reviewed it, every play of the game, reviewed this was actually a holding call that didn't get called, that goes on that guy's responsibility. That hurts his accuracy score. It's the accountability part.
I have a very easy fix for this because, well, the MLB one is third party. Like, it's not done by the MLB. And I forgot, it's like some Twitter page that does it, and they post everything about the umpire. And, like, now we know Angel Hernandez kind of sucks. Like, he's objectively bad. Like,
Kinda.
everyone knows that, right?
He very much sucks. King screw the Yankees over.
Is also a third party organization that reviews play-by-play and gives stats to a lot of players that at the same time they could just do the same thing with refs. And honestly, it wouldn't surprise me in the future if PFF did release some version of like a ref grading score.
100%.
Warren Sharp actually already does this. He keeps track of who calls the most like false start penalties, who calls the most pass interference related penalties. Really is a thing. I see him posted every week for the
But
games.
the only thing I think there should be, like Connor said, an accuracy to it. You know what I mean?
Oh no, he doesn't do that. He's just who's calling the most type of stuff.
Also,
and
shout
he's
out Warren Sharp. He's actually like a goat.
He's got a lot of cool stuff going on for sure.
Yeah, he's really good. I was gonna say like, and like the accountability thing, like, yeah, the best ones get the Super Bowl, but the ones that just suck, they get to go home and go back to their paychecks because they know they'll have their job next year. Like, do something. That's all I'm asking. Do something, because that explanation on Twitter, the post by the NFL account, that doesn't do anything. And quite frankly, it just makes the people more mad because you're kind of just like smacking them in the face. Oh, here's a little article we wrote. You just read it, and then we go on to the next week. Like, come on.
And here's a very specific instance I remember, because here's what I really want to bring up. This, because I'm not even exaggerating when I say this, and this is why I love having this platform where we can do this, and where it gets to the point where I will literally ask people like this to their face, because I need answers. Literally, when I can ask Terry McCauley to his face, I will mark this down, because the guy they have on the thing, like the head ref, he's the ref guy. He always answers for whenever Chris Collinsworth has a question, he's like, "Hey Terry," you know that who I'm talking about. So there was a thing last week where he goes, I don't remember exactly what it was. Don't hold me on it, but it was the gist of it. Was he goes, "Hey Terry, like, how is that going to be that call? Like that's not the right call objectively. We can clearly see that." And he goes, "How is that?" He goes, "Why is this not challengeable, Terry? Why can we not make this a challengeable call next year?" And I mean, this is legitimate IQ level stuff. I mean, this is legitimately like, your IQ is not like serviceable when you say this type of shit. Because he goes, "Well, Chris, it's because you can't challenge the referee because, they're making a subjective call." And I go, "Well, you're saying exactly what the problem is. You're saying the ref is making a call subjectively, not based off the rules.
Based on his
and
own
you're based on his own
opinion.
opinion. So therefore, subjectively, we all have a different viewpoint." That was the point, Terry, is that can we challenge the ref, the one guy who's like 65, who maybe isn't even, bro has dementia possibly, and I can't challenge his subjective point of view with my own subjective point of view. But you're saying that the ref is always the correct subjective point of view. That's what you're saying to me, Terry. And this is my point, is that there's a legitimate intelligence level disconnect between like the fans and how the league is run. And it's not okay anymore. I'm not dealing, because this is my thing, is that at this point, the league is legitimately, I hope you guys understand this, they are undermining our intelligence. They literally are looking at us saying like, "I don't give a fuck if you know we're wrong. We're making money. Fuck you." That's exactly what's happening. And I'm not okay with it. I hope you all are okay with it. We will push this shit. YDKB, let's push this, man. Fuck the rest. It's unacceptable. I get passionate about it because, obviously, and if you've seen something like it, Raiders fans, I know you're with me. There's a real thing. And there's a few fan bases that are a little bit more tight on it right now that have really gotten screwed. But I know every fan base is starting to wake up to it. You've all had at least one bad one go your way. You're going to have a lot more of them until we... Let's fuck the refs, man. Hashtag, let's not, but hashtag fuck the refs.
They got 6-year-old men out here calling things that, the sport we love, they might not even be able to see.
Yep.
I'm not childish. I don't flick the middle finger when I'm driving or anything, but I'll flick the middle finger to the refs. It's for you.
I think you'd drop the mic there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think this is a perfect way to end the show.
Yeah,
because we are at 107 right now. Any last remarks?
Oh, I would cut Jacoby Myers if I was Bill Belichick.
We got to keep an eye out.
I don't blame him.
Come on.
Yeah,
It's been good for them.